Well, I'm an immigrant to this country, and the right to vote and vote freely is one of the most cherished aspects of being a citizen of the United States. I'm Harmeet Dhillon, chairman of the Republican National Lawyers Association, and I've been a lawyer for 29 years. I think it is important not only that citizens be encouraged to vote, but also that they feel confidence in the outcome of their elections, because that in turn fuels their confidence in the government and their happiness with their way of life in many ways. And so that's why I think integrity, regardless of the outcome of elections, is incredibly important. Well, our founders were very wise, and the system that they set up left most of the authority of government overall with the states. And that includes election administration. And specifically, the United States Constitution sets forth that it is only the state legislatures that can set the rules of how elections are run in the states. And efforts by the federal government to override state authority, that type of thing, to my mind, is completely unconstitutional and forbidden by our constitutional scheme. And so when I see our federal government not just offering money for election administration and letting states determine how it's spent, but actually attempting to interfere with and override with state election efforts, I am deeply concerned by that, and so I'm glad to see FGA's lawsuit on that issue. But the specific problem here is really chilling because we have an election coming up very soon in this country, an election that is likely to see a change of power in at least one of our houses of Congress. And yet, the Biden administration, while having made a grandiose announcement about promoting voting, we don't know how, we don't know with what money and resources, we don't know with what specific directions are being given or to whom. We don't know whether the government is going to be cooperating with certain outside groups or what funding may be given to preferred outside groups, what the process is for funding those outside groups, what the criteria are, who's overseeing it. We know nothing about these programs. And so whether you agree with what the government is doing or not, every citizen has a right to know exactly what that is. Transparency is required in almost every aspect of the government outside certain national security aspects. And so this is clearly an area where it is very important for the confidence of American voters that we know exactly what's going on. What we have seen in elections since the November 2020 election, be it the special election in Georgia, be it the recall election in California, be it primaries that have gone on throughout the 2022 summer, is that citizens are expressing concern about whether their vote will count. And that is really tragic to our country and our future. We need every citizen to feel confident voting and that their vote will be counted accurately. And where you don't know what the government is doing to fiddle with the outcome of those elections, a lot of citizens will choose to stay home. And so that is a suppression of the vote by citizens who are concerned. That is why it is so important for FGA's lawsuit to proceed and that Americans get answers as to what our government is doing to interfere with our elections.